this is the third time I've recorded. My apartment golden retriever, who's my roommate's dog, has come over and given me the biggest cuddle every time I've turned the camera on. I'm just going to do a quick video today. I've had a few questions in the last kind of 6 months since I posted my kind of bond medical journey entrance on YouTube, which I was surprised that people reached out, but I think naturally people are quite curious to hear the finances, to hear a lot about the interviews, to hear a lot about the program and the quality, which is amazing. It's great that people are curious and great that people feeling like they can send me an email. But yeah, number one email I've got is the fee structure and how it works. And I've actually been lucky enough to speak to people privately on the phone about, the options that are out there for paying the finances of bond, because it's very expensive. And I think naturally that's quite concerning for people, as it should be. You want to make sure, one, you feel like you get your money's worth, and two, when you're making such a big decision to attend a medical program, finances are obviously a very important consideration. So I'll just run you through rough estimates. This can change year on year, and there can be, mild differences between perhaps what I quote for a semester at bond or for a year and for fee help and what someone else might. So it's best to keep updated, but if this is just a quick browse of the finances of bond, then this will probably give you a good idea. So overall, the bond medical program is 4 years and 9 months, and it costs around $410,000. So it's about $30,000 per semester, which is very expensive. And I think it's quite taboo to talk about at bond because people just like to ignore the fact that it's that expensive, which is fair enough. You don't want to talk about how much it costs. So it's $410,000 and it's about $30,000 per semester, which is very expensive. You get fee help loans, and one of the good things about bond is you actually get access to a little bit more money than, in my understanding, other fee help loan systems. So at bond, my fee help loan personally was about $155,000, which meant of the $410,000, $155,000 could just be put onto a government loan. There's no interest, which is great. It's not like a bank loan, but it is indexed to inflation. So what that means is you will see increases in your fee help loan, but that's simply to account for the reduction in the power of the dollar due to inflation. Now, so you get $155,000 or thereabouts, which means that out of pocket, it's about $250,000 to $280,000, which is a lot of money, right? That's $250,000 that you're paying for a medical program, that's mind-blowing to me still that it's that expensive, and it's probably never going to not be mind-blowing in the future when I am a clinician. I think that because it's so expensive, naturally doesn't incline people to apply for the program, because there are a lot of people who are priced out of the fact that it's too expensive. And what's also disappointing is that bond doesn't have a lot of scholarships. They have an Indigenous scholarship, which is amazing, but it would be great to see a leadership scholarship or an academic scholarship or something that allows perhaps people who are less fortunate financially to apply for the program. I think that would be awesome, but they don't have one in there at the moment. Naturally, it's so costly, right, that I think a lot of people want to work while they're at uni. I know that's certainly how I feel. And while working is definitely possible when you're in a medical program, but I will just say that bond does make it slightly difficult to work because they have this attendance policy where if you miss 20% of the lessons, then that can be grounds to repeat your whole year, which means you got to pay another $90,000, and that would be a disaster. So given the attendance policy, it means that basically you have to be at uni every day. And then in addition to that, that would be fine if you're at uni every day, but you knew days that perhaps you didn't have classes. But what's difficult is bond don't give you your timetable until Friday the previous week. So you can't really give your employer ample time to plan around uni. They give you draft timetables, but these are subject to change, which would be frustrating if you had, told your boss that I can work this day or that day, but then it changed suddenly. And they're a new program, and I understand that there are reasons they do this, and apparently they've seen a much bigger academic performance or much better academic performance in these more stringent attendance policies. But the only thing that I think is negative about it is that it really does strangle your ability to be employed when you're in the program. And as I said, the fees are so expensive that perhaps, you want to pay for all your rent, you want to pay for all your food, you want to pay, even if it's 25% of the fees to help your parents or family or whoever's paying, then, that's great. That's a great kind of line of thinking to try and take the burden off someone else. But it is quite difficult in the bond program to work and to do medicine because it's also a difficult degree and it's quite time consuming. You can get access to Centrelink if you're of the certain situation. There are a number of people I know that get Centrelink to help cover their expenses while they're at uni, and that's perfectly normal for a lot of people at uni. If you do plan on applying for bond, it might be worth considering if you don't have any financial external assistance. It might be worth just trying to perhaps delay your entrance and applying at a later date and saving for those years, whether that be working for 3 years from first year out of school, second and third year, and accumulating, a good savings that might allow to just chip away at the cost of the fees and then have someone else help. There are a range of options that perhaps do require some long-term planning. So my own advice, and I'm not really equipped with financial advice, but I think that it's just worth, if you're going to apply to bond, it's just worth trying to, think about a few years ahead and perhaps, if I'm going to apply in 3 years, is it worth saving some money? The caveat to bond is that you finish earlier, so you're actually accessing the earning potential of a first-year intern doctor perhaps 2 to 3 years before other programs. So the problem is not that overall in the context of life that financially you'll be behind. It's probably more to do with the fact that you need quite a large cash flow just for the years that you're out of pocket at bond, because inevitably as a doctor, you'll be able to make that money back quite quickly. They're the rough estimates for the cost of the fees: $30,000 per semester, about $410,000 for 4 years and 9 months. You get about $155,000 as a loan from the government, which is deducted from the $410,000. I'll put some screenshots of my statement of accounts just so that you can see kind of the files and paperwork. Look, I hope you found this useful. I do get a number of people who do ask me about the finances, so here it is. And if you're applying to bond, it is a great program, and I have a lot of fun and I work and make it work, so I'm sure that you can.